Good evening, everyone. This is a grumpy old guy gaming with another Fragment Friday run. First off, I'd like to thank the server hosting this run, V's Place. V has always been very generous with server time for me on runs, and I just wanted to throw out a quick thank you. Guys, if you're looking for a place to level, this is about as clear cut as it gets. Go on V's Place. She's literally got it mapped out for you. The roundabout level area you want to go to, the monster saturation in terms of percentages. Great place to go in, sort of cut your teeth, maybe try out different party dynamics and everything. I love flavor, I love quirky things, and I love being able to go in and just know what I'm getting right away. And this is one of these servers that gives you that ability to sort of figure things out from the get-go. So thank you for having this here. We're running with Dionysius the Wavemaster today. Kind of just trying out some different stuff. First off, you'll notice that well, maybe you didn't notice right away, but there's some things that are going to be a little different here. Guys, I finally joined the group of people with legal copies of Fragment. Mine finally came in the other day. Got it patched and was having a couple crashing issues. Eventually, Spooky recommended version 1.5 to me. It took me a little time to find because well, it's not readily available. You gotta sort of search for it a bit, and I'm not the most computer or internet savvy person, so it took me a bit. But we've got 1.5 up, and it seems to be doing the trick for me here. Also doing the trick for me is this this staff, the Wand of Pattern, I believe it is. It's a rare item. I want to say I traded for it from one of the characters you unlock to party with an offline. It's like a level 21, I think. Really skill point intensive spells, but I got a good mix going. I've got a water tornado, I've got a lightning tornado, and then I've got Yarthkins, the Earth Summon. See it just taking down that woodstock there. Nice grass field here. There's a spring we'll be hitting up later. Came into this level 24 looking to level up here. Got a couple of those little demon things that hide behind the shields. Just trying to line them up. Yeah, a couple shield devils. Try and hit them with the lightning tornado there. I want to say it's G-Ryrom or one of those that we're using. Get those elemental hits if we can. Gonna be chugging a lot of mage's souls in this one. Pick up a resurrect out of that case and then on my merry way. Certainly not complaining, because the upside is I've got a lot more stopping power than I typically would on my spells. This is just one of these places where things weren't falling as easily as I would have liked. There, Yarthkins hit, but it wasn't quite an elemental hit on the woodstock, so it had a little bit of hit points left. Just that little bit burning an extra spell, so when we come up on another one, nothing to do but a Ryrom and another just to get down so we get our money's worth out of the mage's soul. There we do get an elemental hit, and that's over 4,000 damage. A thing of beauty to see. We're certainly not, wagging our fingers in a disapproving manner at 16 experience. Pick up a fire bracer out of the chest there. Again, this will be going up Friday. It'll actually be dropping here in a few hours. I like to set them up for midnight. That way, if anybody's watching late at night or what have you, sort of get it out there a little early. Part of a big weekend coming up in the .hack community and in the Fragment community. Fragment's 15th birthday is on Sunday. Got some special plans. Gonna be skipping my usual PS4 stream on Sunday. in part because the house is going to be crazy enough. It's also the day we make our Thanksgiving pies here, and the day I usually try and find an excuse to stay out of the way of that anyway. So now I've got this. But we're going to be doing something a little special here on the channel. Gonna make it a live event, hopefully get a decent amount of audience in, and we're gonna set someone up live on stream to start playing Fragment. It should be a fun time. Hopefully you come check it out. Additionally, I saw the .hack network Aronius had posted on that Discord. Either the 22nd or the 23rd is 8 years for that community. So that is a huge milestone there. Just all kinds of stuff going off. As far as here on the channel, no major milestones, because this isn't a major milestone kind of place. Not that kind of guy personally. Like to think we've been putting in some good work though. Got a couple uploads in, finally sort of calming back down after that ridiculous month of October where it felt like I was just turning around and dropping videos everywhere. Put a fun video up this week in the Retro channel if you're into classic gaming or just really want to see what the games of yesterday looked like and maybe how they'd hold up, maybe see if any of them catch your interest. If you're a fan of dungeon crawlers and RPG style games like this with fantasy elements, this week's upload was Dark Chambers for the Atari 7800. Very much a Gauntlet-esque game, but not quite as frenetic, a bit more forgiving and designed for 1 or 2 players. We played the first 10 levels there, and I gotta tell you, it was really, really fun. Just sort of a relaxing, cathartic experience. Also relaxing is watching Tetra Armors fall. You know, the beauty of playing a wavemaster, especially after the last couple days of just going in with the blade master, and then when I thought everything was set up, just seeing the screen glitch out. It's kinda nice to A, have things run smooth, and B, have all your battles fought at a distance. And going up against this Woodstock and the only thing getting close to it is Yarthkins. I can live with that. Sadly, had a real chance for some fun capture sort of slipped through my fingers earlier. I was invited out for a run with Snow Nobby, and Snow and Sly ended up being in Hongik there, and sadly I froze up. I got the blue screen. So I had to X out real quick. Felt bad about that. In part because I find, you know, when those guys are running, especially on a level 99 server, they're usually going after something pretty fun, and it would have made for an enjoyable video. So kinda disappointing for me that I couldn't deliver that kind of a video for you guys, but I think this will be fun all the same. That's yet another Woodstock down, and there's only one portal left. The level 1 Grandpa didn't really give us much in the way of anything. Just sort of gave us the old, I don't like your gear, it's too strong for me, and then chucked some axes our way, so we'll be sure to throw those into the storage after we're done here. Move into this final portal here, and inside are a couple Tetra Armors. Now I constantly had to remind myself, because the shortcut I've got the Lightning Tornado, the Thunder spell, set to. It's sort of my go-to button press. And these things being thunder tolerant, I just had to keep reminding myself not to do what I did right there, and just hit that shortcut. So you saw that bunch of zeros, and it's got a real annoying chime sound to go with it to remind you that it is immune to that damage. You could always carry the Elemental Bane spell as well if you're worried about something like that, or maybe you've got your Wavemaster set up spec'd to a specific element. if you've got nothing but fire spells, it's probably a good idea to carry that Elemental Bane with you. So if you run into anything that's fire tolerant, boom, one item and you're back in the game. Gonna be heading into the dungeon now. You're on the first floor. Let's go ahead and pop a Fairy's Orb, check out the layout. Gonna go ahead and 100% this dungeon because it's Fragment Friday and it's a good time to do so. Got a little bit choppy here. I want to say at some point it's gonna cut out weirdly because no, I can't remember if I was doing anything here. I don't know, I was jumping back and forth just testing different things. So at times it's going to be a little bit choppy, and if it cuts out real quick or cuts to a different window, I will apologize in advance, try and do my best to catch any of those instances on the edit here. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit edited out after dropping the Weird Stuff episode. I love doing those episodes. I think I'm a little hypercritical of myself when it comes to those because I really want to do a good job, and that format of video is not in my wheelhouse, in my comfort zone, if you will. Doing something a bit more laid back like this where I just sort of talk at you while running a dungeon, that's more my speed. Speaking of, we're coming up on some phalanx here and a Tetra armor, so once again reminding myself not to cast the Thunder Element spell. Just keep chucking ice cubes at this Tetra armor. Just freeze the armor solid. That's the way we'll do it. I think it was Emus. Hopefully saying that right. They went ahead and did those battle graphics, the battle mode on and off. They got them translated, and I believe they had to, physically move around the tiles to get them in there. Just looks so good seeing that, translated and everything. I gotta admit, it's been a fun journey. I probably gush about playing this game a lot, but it's not without reason. It's been a neat experience watching this thing sort of grow up and be translated and everything just right around you as you play. Real rare treasure, and a big thank you to everybody who's been working on the project. Got Vector working on the patcher, Telly, Alice on translations, Emus, Zachmon and V on the coding, One Up, everybody, Bison, a whole bunch of people that I'm forgetting to name because I'm a putz and I don't take notes well. Moving into this room here, we've got a Tetra armor and a shield demon, and they both go down to a Yarthkins. Nice little finishing shot there. Pick up 27 experience, and the gates open and we carry onward. My point is, this has really been a very cool experience, and I'm looking forward to the next part of it already. Take out that Tetra armor. The nice thing is I know the water element, the ice tornado, is going to take it out. The bad thing is I know it's going to take 40 of my SP out as well. So I think I ended up chugging somewhere over 30 on the mage's souls by the time it's all said and done. Get into this medium corridor here, and there you see my favorite block in this entire dungeon. Can't say I have a specific count on the number of times I went to fire off a spell and just didn't have enough in the tank, but it certainly felt more common than usual. And that's in part because I usually go with, gear that gives me a bit safer plays, but, heading up to level 24, going to level 25, time to step out of the box a little. Time to go for some flashier stuff, I think. Here we got a room with a little bit of area to it, so we're gonna use that speed charm we've got popped to our advantage and just sorta run around until we can get the phalanx and the tetra armor with the Yarthkins. Takes out the phalanx and does a good bit of damage to the tetra armor, allowing us to finish it off. Pick up a trapped chest here, and after disarming, a second one appears, so we'll disarm that as well. Resurrect out of one, and resurrect out of both. I should point out another little thing. The trapped chest box have been translated back to the risky treasure wording from the IMOQ games. Get another nice little touch, and we are down to the second floor already. Fairies orb that. Check our quick status page, and I got to tell you, we weren't very far into this level when we started, and we've already got 623 experience to the next level. Again, good experience picking up here. Like I said, we're going to 100% this, but I once again went the wrong way. Lucked out, wasn't much but a treasure chest in that portal, and we pick up a green gale and go back and just decide to hit the other directions out of this little four-way sort of circle room first. We already know that up leads to the previous floor, so there's just left and down orientations on the map before we go back right. Here we've got a couple little rooms, got some treasures, got some breakable objects. This room's just empty. It's got some little stairs. Heading up, we've got a couple of corridors here. First one gives us a pair of phalanx. Kinda neat that the phalanx look like big heavy brawler dudes, and then they'll just sit there and chuck spells at you if you try and keep them at a distance. So already you're seeing the game try and balance against you, because by this point it's assuming you've got your playstyle down enough that you've reached this level. Just chucking the Ryroms out there and still run myself out of SP. Always a good sign when you lose track of your own SP casting your most, skill point effective spell. Also believe I have foul rep now, which is great for in parties, because, full heals are great when you're going with, heavy blades and heavy axemen with 1500 some hit points. Probably a little bit of overkill soloing with a wavemaster, but I am sort of beefy for a wavemaster at 474 hit points. Offsets my anemic SP pool, I suppose. Would like to point out, one of the nice things about the rarer items is some of the designs are really, really cool. I know there's a Jester's one that just sort of looks like a little skeleton guy, and his rib cage is on the body of the staff and everything. That one kind of looked cool. I really dig this one too. It's got sort of a wooden staff look to it, and then the top is like a little mini grimoire, a little spell book. Hilarious if you're physically attacking, because then you're just smacking people with an open book. Looks like you're beating them up with an old, TV guide. For the 6 of you who will watch this and remember when TV guides were a thing, thank you. Coming up, and it looks like we have some iteration of Sled Dog in this one, which means I should be going for the Water Tornado. And I'm sure that thought will occur to me. Yep, we have a great Sled Dog. Not just good, great. You know what else is great? Getting 3 risky treasures out of a single encounter. Just gonna fortune wire all of these before I get greedy and start opening chests, because if you go ahead before you disarm them, you're gonna move too far one way or the other and accidentally trigger one of the ones you forgot to disarm. So just keep popping fortune wires until you no longer can. Safety first. That's your fragment tip. Moving into a little L-shaped room here. Got a shield devil. Maybe two. Tough to tell, they didn't last too long after Yarthkins hit. Once again, skill point depleting spell, but man, that's stopping power. End the encounter in one cast, it's worth it. Here on the third floor, once again popping a fairy's orb. Equal parts so we know where we're going, and as a bit of a stalling tactic. Get some of those skill points back. Maybe we could get through the next portal without using a mage's soul. You never know. Come into one of these little warehouse rooms that are full of breakable objects, and usually have a golden egg like this to annoy the hell out of you with that bouncing sound until you pick it up. I think that was their way of making sure you ended up raising grunties in these games. Just make the damn food so annoying you couldn't leave it behind. Then when you had the option to make it, it's like, well, I have 7,000 foods anyway. I mean, just playing around on that a little bit. I actually really like the grunties. All of the R1 grunties, even the weirder ones. The R2 grunties, pretty much just in the mecha grunty house. There we got a nice elemental hit on that one great sled dog. You saw all of those 160s pop up. Always feel good when you get those elemental hits. Pick up the full out of that chest there. And an immature egg before moving on. Had a rare miss. I think one of the reasons I like sticking with at least one summons is they're pretty accurate. You get your value out of them. They're very intensive spells, but they seldom miss and they don't hit for small amounts. But there was a moment where I in fact did miss one of the two monsters. The phalanx just out and out got missed. Not the end of the world though, we clean it up pretty easy. Gonna keep moving down. Got another one of those warehouse rooms coming up here. You can tell because that back row is just lined with treasure chests. Pick up a health drink out of the barrel. Not too much I could do with health drinks at this point. Switched over to healing potions in my inventory. Don't know about anybody else, but when it comes to my potion of choice, my antidotes and restoratives, I like running with 90 of them. That way if I happened into some at the dungeon, you know, I could pick them up. Could always use them, and if not, just sell them or store them back to 90. But I hate going in with 99, and then you end up picking up some and instantly have to just drop them. It's nothing really lost. But it does feel like an opportunity lost. There it's a larger room and it's a little choppy coming in, but it smooths out. The capture smoothed out nicely before the battle. End up getting the sled dog with an elemental hit at the end, so only 2 hits registered, but they were quality. Go ahead and give ourselves a bit of a heal here. Got what appears to be an empty room this way. We'll check it out just for the sake of saying we did. Well, it's got a golden egg. It's got a golden egg and it's got some nifty stuff. Couple skeletons in cages, couple suits of armor. Not my personal decorating choice, but who am I to judge? I'm taking all their shit. Going into a dead-end hallway here. Once again, pair of sled dogs. Pair of great sled dogs, which I guess makes them a generation older than the normal sled dogs. Sort of an uncle versus great uncle sort of deal there. One thing's for sure, we're picking up 21 experience for killing them, and that is in itself great. And a Hands of Fire. Take it or leave it. So we've got a little bit of backtracking going on here. Hope everybody is doing well on this as of the point of airing Fragment Friday. Again, moving closer to Thanksgiving here in the States, which means we're moving closer to getting Christmas music pounded into our skulls for 5 weeks. I don't mind it too much. Pick up a Mage's Soul there. Very timely consumable to pick up with the way we're playing here. Moving to the 4th floor. Now I gotta say, we are really close to a level up as we hit the status there. 901 on the experience tally. And we've got more than enough portals. We know we're gonna hit it. It's a matter of when, not if, unless we do something stupid and croak out here. So far, so good. Couple monsters taken down in short order by Yarthkins, and we pick up a risky treasure to our benefit. Inside the chest is some smith's gloves. Once again, nothing we're going to be using, but it will sell. Think in the neighborhood of 1,000 gold for that. So it'll help us buy back some of these consumables we're just sort of drinking as though they were just bottled water. Once again, hitting that elemental hit. 2 nicest words you could see pop on the screen as a wavemaster. Moving through here, we got sort of a snaking around corridor here where we've got a couple of L bends. First one's going from right to left and then down, and the second one's picking up and down from the previous room and then going from left to right. So if you can imagine it, those 2 rooms side by side make sort of a C shape. Or half a square. Now I data drained there, so I could end the battle quickly. And then I got weirdly distracted by the little cute chibi monster running around, and I tried to hit it with the book. Failed miserably because I'm a wavemaster, and TV guides aren't going to kill anything even if you data drain it. Eventually just cast a spell to get rid of it. But if you ever wanted to see the worst possible way to play .hack Fragment, take a wavemaster and try and beat up monsters with an open TV guide. Can't believe that great sled dog held on, but we sort of threw the kitchen sink at it and it had 5 hit points left. So we used another spell and got rid of it, because the last thing you want to do is let it sit around for too long and then it regenerates half its health for no good reason. Once again, using a larger room to our advantage, the monsters did that thing where they sort of separate at the beginning to keep you from hitting them with an area spell. So we just ran circles around them until they regrouped. Then hit them with a couple thunder tornadoes and they're both down. Would have been nicer if we were able to sync up the elemental hits, but we're not going to complain overall, because that is in fact the battle that puts us over. We level up there. Now very close to, pardon me, very close to 500 hit points. And we pick up some SP as well. Grab a drink here. Also find ourselves out of SP here. Guess that sort of made it seem like running out of SP would have been the drinking game. I would strongly suggest you don't do that, because that ain't gonna end well for you, especially not the following morning with the way this dungeon ran. We do get through though. Fortune wire this chest and pick up an iron anklet. Again, decent gear. We're spec'd out a little better, so we're not worried about it, but coming up on some hysterias here. They're thunder tolerant as well, which is another thing I should probably remind myself one or two more times than I actually did over the course of this run. I want to say Hysterias were one of the more cartoony end of solo runs I had. I think it was with my Wavemaster the one time I was in one of those, you know, those days where you come home and you're like, I'm just gonna rule the world. I'm gonna beat everything, right? So I go in, start up a field, gonna solo it, and a couple of Hysterias, and I'm put to sleep and just wiped. Utterly murked out of the first portal, and it's like, well, now I have to get a level back. Humility acquired. Coming up into a square-shaped room, get a Shield Devil and a Great Sled Dog. Shield Devil goes down easy, and an elemental hit on the Sled Dog means it follows shortly after. Still picking up 19 experience off of them. Only a couple portals left here. We've got another square-shaped room on the opposite side of this sort of cross-shaped intersection. This one's got some Hysteria in it. Looks like 2 of those and a Great Sled Dog. So we'll be casting spells like nobody's business, and that takes us all the way down to 1 SP before we're said and done, but we do end up taking everything out. Only cost us 1 Mage's Soul there, which is more than acceptable. Unfortunately, that means we are really low heading into the last portal. Coming up, just pop the Mage's Soul because I know it's not going to go super easy. Start with the Yarthkins and then the elemental hit on the Ice Tornado to finish. 19 experience. Once again, we're drained, but there's nothing left to fight. So that was a good time to shoot the old supply, if you will. Now we're just sort of backtracking our way back up. The treasure room, if you're looking at the mini-map, was all the way at the top. But I recognized it because it's a small rectangle with the chest slightly offset of center. That's how they tend to appear on the mini-map. So when I see a room like that, I instantly head the other way, and if I don't see stairs, I know that's the one. Finally make our way back up here. Gonna check it out. We end up getting a Holy Tree Mail, a Mage's Soul, and a Healing Potion. Guys, that's gonna do it for this run. Just gonna take a look at some gear here. We never did find anything too amazing. Because again, I'd found some pretty amazing gear in other runs. But yeah, just wanted to get on. Wish you all a happy Fragment Friday, and hopefully we'll see you Sunday. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Take care.